Over the past month, a lot of stuff happened. And by that, I mean nothing much happened. We got to do tests. When the tests are done, we went back to study and prepare for more tests. Seems like a fun time. So there's nothing much to talk about in the past month. So how about we go a little further? Let's talk about topics that are unrelated to our school and make this debut episode of this monthly, small, maybe just talking session more appealing to you guys, the students. Of course, I will try my best to make this script suitable to the school staffs, so don't worry about it. Welcome to Monthly Maybe Talk, where I am your host, Kiet. We'll talk about any kind of topics in English, as long as it is suitable for the young adult audience, of course. In this month's episode, I think I'll talk about what a lot of young adults and teenagers like to talk about: games. Specifically, video games. Video games have been around for centuries. In 1958, physicist William Higginbotham created what is thought to be the first video game. It's a simple game that plays like tennis and is similar to a classic game called Pong. Today, video games have become more than what it was in the 20th century, with new, highly anticipated games like Doom Eternal, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Watch Dogs Legion, or the Final Fantasy VII Remake. The gaming industry has progressed a lot in a short amount of time. Now a disclaimer, I myself enjoy playing video games, but I will not defend anyone playing video games, nor attack anyone. I will simply talk about video games, its history, and the negative opinions toward it, in the most objective way possible. Let's begin. Video games have been around for quite a while. It began in the early 1970s. At Stanford University, two students released Galaxy Game. It is a clone of Space War, one of the earliest video games developed in 1962 by Steve Russell. The first commercial arcade video game, Computer Space, was introduced in 1971 by Seisai Engineering. I don't know how to pronounce that. When the Atari came out and launched the first commercially successful video game, Pong, video games started to gain popularity. Over the century, more arcade games have been made. Popular names include Space Invaders by Taito, Pac-Man by Namco, and Donkey Kong by Nintendo. But let's cut it short and move forward to what we are more familiar with: computer games. With the thriving popularity of arcade games and console games, computer games started to appear in the late 1970s and rapidly evolved in the 1980s. Not until years later, when games you might have heard of started to appear, names such as Wolfenstein 3D, Doom, and Half-Life. I know I'm only naming first-person shooter games, but I have to be honest here. This is the first time I'm making a video like this, and I'm not that good at researching, so I will probably miss a lot of important events, and I apologize to our fans. But anyway, with the rise of video games and especially more violent shooting games, a lot of controversy started to appear. Parents started to view video games as too violent for kids to play, or cause kids to be autistic and addictive. But enough talk about those controversial stuff. What about Vietnam? How's video games doing here? Well, from what I've heard, it's been around for quite a while. Kids in the 90s have played in the arcade and even console games. But the most popular form of video games here is undeniably online games. Games such as League of Legends, Crossfire, and Counter-Strike are quite popular here. Video games is one of the most popular cultural aspects in Vietnam, though a lot might disagree. But you can't deny that when you look at kids in Vietnam, you do see that they play video games, and they play a lot of video games. It's not weird to see teenagers, young adults, and even adults playing video games. It's not even strange to see elementary kids play video games. Over here, we have something called OneNet, which is basically an internet cafe. In here, you see mostly kids and young adults playing video games, competing against each other and overall having a good time. But sadly, this growth in popularity also led to a lot of problems, mainly the fact that a lot of the kids are addicted. When I say addicted, I mean that they play for a long time and even spend a lot of money in the games they play. This led to the bad impression that video games waste time and money and also ruin the kids' behaviors. Though I would say that it depends. Gaming is a form of entertainment, much like music and art. There is nothing wrong with playing games to have a good time. Kids should be able to play games so they can relieve stress from school and etc. But parents should also watch over them and make sure they don't play too much to the point that they neglect their studies and become addicted. In my opinion, it's not the game's fault that the kids become addicted, but it's not the parents' fault either. But parents can prevent that from happening if they manage the kids well. Not forcefully prohibit them from playing, but also not let them play too much. Also, please read the age rating before buying games for them, please, thank you. Okay, that's about it for the negative opinions toward gaming in Vietnam, at least. Yes, that's it. Now let's talk about the gaming scene a bit. Sure, I talked about its history before, but not the scene. As of now, the esports scene in Vietnam has risen in popularity. Back when Vietnamese League of Legends team were competing in local regions, now we had even joined the World Championship. According to an article, the latest statistics are posted in Vietnam Esports Guidebook in 2019. In 2018, Vietnam had 15 million esports gamers. The gaming industry in Vietnam has amazing growth potential, especially esports gaming, with the country climbing from 35th to 28th in users ranking of the world's largest gaming markets, with an estimated revenue of over 365 million in 2018. Apparently, the most popular games in Vietnam are League of Legends, Dota 2, and Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Some games like FIFA Online, War of Tanks, and Crossfire also enjoy great popularity. The market starts to see more investment of businesses such as VTC Mobile entering into cooperation with Mobifone to organize Vietnam's Pro League. Vietnam's esports development JSC staging a League of Legends championship, or most recently, the Samsung Championship for Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Channels that broadcast professional matches live, such as Vietnam Esports TV and smaller groups, also gradually improve quality by receiving support from giants like Twitch and YouTube Gaming. So in my conclusion, Vietnamese gaming industry is rising in popularity, and probably in the near future, we'll get to the global scene too. It's nice to know that we have come this far. Back then, gaming was just a fun thing we do, but now, it's so popular it may qualify as an art form itself. I hope that the Vietnamese gaming industry and the gaming industry as a whole will continue to grow at this rate and that one day we'll stand amongst the top forms of media. For now, let's sit back, play some games and study. That's what we should do after all, we're students. This is Monthly Maybe Talk, and thank you for watching. Have a great day.